Hey everyone, my name is Cerebellum. Today we are doing a replay review of SJHS.Tsundere's Templar Assassin Mid. He's playing today with two of his friends, the Windrunner here, Horny Heracross, and Richard Nixon here. I love that name, by the way, for Timber Soul. So yeah, I just had my first day on a new job today, so I'm a little bit tired, but hopefully we can get to this pretty fast. I won't go through the trouble of just introducing Templar Assassin here. I'll just say that this is a pretty good, very popular mid build these days. Ideally, when you're doing this, you would want to just get two tangos from like your teammates. But if that can't be, if you can't get that, then you know, this is pretty fine. So
No way!
Templar Assassin mid. It's pretty good. Doesn't really need the Lich here. The Lich honestly should probably just hit top. And against the Dazzle, that's pretty good. The refraction, it really comes down to whether or not refraction can do a lot for you. And in this case, it can. Refraction, of course, just blocks instances of damage. Dazzle does have a poison. We can see he has poison touch. Poisons, of course, deals lots of instances of damage. So in that sense, Dazzle isn't the worst laner against a TA mid, but Dazzle isn't really what you would call a very strong mid these days. He's okay at it. It's more that he just doesn't really use all the farm and levels for super much. Like, levels is super good on Dazzle, but it's not nothing like, say, nothing like your TA or your Invoker or something like that. He just really can't take control of the game to quite the same extent as someone like that. So that's why you're not seeing support characters play mid so often. It's not that they aren't effective in the sense that they can secure farm and push others out the lane and contest and stuff. It's more that if they get ahead, it isn't. You don't get that snowball at all. It's more like just utility you get out of it, and it's that's not typically what you're looking for in your mid. So yeah, the TA having a reasonable time so far. Let's just bring up the last hits. Yeah, pretty much the Dire team crushing it with regard to last hits at the moment. So now you've got your bottle. Could check for the runes, but probably have already checked because there's excellent wall coverage of the runes, so we can see exactly if they're there. That could have gone for that deny. I don't think the extra harass hit would have been very good. Yeah, they do have a Treant as well as a Dazzle. There's gonna be a lot of heal here. Treant, another one of those heroes that really doesn't like a lot of instances of damage. Because of the living armor works kind of like refraction, and it has several layers of protection, and and if you just grind all of them down really fast, then it doesn't do a whole lot. Doesn't manage to pick up the haste, very good for him, because then it doesn't go to the Templar Assassin. This is a pretty usual build, a pretty normal build, a little bit of a bad English coming from me there, and there's a bit of action happening here, but probably the Dazzle can't do much to actually kill the Templar Assassin. Yeah, going refraction first, very good. Of course, it doesn't escalate in mana cost. That's very important. It also gives you extra bonus damage, and it's quite a lot good scaling in bonus damage. We see it gets you 20 damage per level. So every time you cast refraction, you'll get more instances and you'll get more damage out of it. So that's very good, especially in the beginning. We see when she has refraction on, she's basically got a DD here. That's 120 damage. And it's got the more instances you have to grind through, the longer the time you'll have the bonus damage. So obviously a good skill to max out first, especially when you compare it to, we've got the Meld and we've got the Sire Blades. Now the Sire Blades don't really contribute too much. They give you attack range and they have a split range. So it's a great weapon later on when you can use it a lot for different stuff. I saw a video a while ago by, what's it called? Wagamama. Yeah, Wagamama did a video on how he runs his TA, and he did say in some matchups you can use the Sire Blades early on just for harassment, just to, you know, while you're last hitting or just hitting creeps, just be able to hit stuff, hit the enemy hero in mid, just right behind it. That's not super good with, or that doesn't really work with Dazzle because he's got super long range. So yeah, that's not something you want. So definitely like giving refraction level 1 and 1 point in Meld and 1 point in Sire Blades and 3 points in refraction by level 5. So this is really good. We also see Meld does have a lot of extra damage and extra armor reduction, but I mean it doesn't last as long as your refraction, and it is, you know, you get a lot of it just by one level. Like if you get one level of this, you can still just turn yourself invisible, and that's a really good functionality of it. So that's why one level of this is pretty good. That's all I want to say there. So, getting the bottle up here, that's usually what you're going for if you're going for the very kind of greedy opening. It isn't really greedy in the sense that it's very viable. It's not really a gamble, but it's, you know, that's what you're doing if you're going for the triple armor branch tango. Is that you're rushing up something, probably a bottle. And so going bottle into boost of speed, pretty good. We see she doesn't even have to use most of her tangos. That's the power of the refraction for you. She's got low mana, but, you know, you take what you can get. So the Dazzle is doing very well on farm. They're actually pretty much even in this lane. The difference is the Dazzle can't do as much with it as our Templar Assassin. So this, I would say, is actually really good for their team. So didn't get her boots there, just didn't really manage it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And the courier not coming this is a bit of bad miss micro. Just, you know, it didn't have an open slot for the boots, and now that could have easily been a kill. Could still be a kill. But that could, if that had been managed a little bit better, they could definitely got a kill there. Now there's an engagement. There goes the ultimate. Her ultimate, of course, is really good, really long range slow. And they managed a really easy kill on the Witch Doctor. Now this did take away the TA from the lane for a good long while. But on the other hand, it did give them a kill, and all they're doing is leaving the lane open to maybe some Dazzle farm, and Dazzle even rotated, so not even that. They're leading 3-0 now, which is really good.
Denied.
So yeah, we see the Dazzle's getting forced out of lane pretty easy here. He is leading slightly right now. He's got more deniers. Deniers aren't as important as last hits, so he's got a good amount of last hits now as well. So the Dazzle is definitely doing well on the lane. No, okay, the TA actually is leading on deniers a lot. I got confused there. Sorry about that. So yeah, the deniers is mainly to prevent the opponent to get last hits. So if the opponent's getting last hits, then your deniers are pretty much all they're doing is giving him slightly fewer levels while the farm is still there. So that's not super good. So Dazzle moved out of lane, and now we have the reverse situation of before, where TA has just got free farm, which is pretty bad. TA can also do significant damage to your tower. See her pushing down probably 25-30% of the tower's health in that just a little while. So in good position to take some early towers here, something that would really hurt the enemy team. Of course, this chipping damage isn't super relevant when you're up against a Treant Protector. And you could say that the one thing that we don't like, if we're the Dire here, the one thing we're worried a little bit about is that the Spectre still hasn't died 10 minutes into the game. She has been contested a lot, so she's only got 12 last hits, which is kind of the next best thing, I think. Yeah, definitely. She doesn't have a very impressive inventory at this point. She's just got phase, pretty much. So the Spectre would definitely want better farm. If the Spectre was having free farm at this point, this would be really bad. So definitely always take a look at, you know, we might be leading 4-0, but who have we really killed? Who we've killed? Well, we've killed the Witch Doctor twice, we've killed the Treant, we've killed the Bounty Hunter. Those are the three guys we really don't... If we have to distribute kills, this is the worst way this could end up. We've killed a lot of supports and we killed the offlaner once. This is like the two heroes we really need to kill off. The hard carry and the mid haven't died. So we see the Dazzle is doing really well on levels, and the Spectre is doing not so good. It's more the fact that the farm has been contested so much for the Spectre. She's been pushed out of the lane. She's not a very good laner, Spectre. She's quite weak in lane. Trade off between her late game potential and her relatively weak early game. Like, you would definitely need something stronger than a dual lane with her here. I think definitely if they had, and Treant is really bad in lane. If they had the Witch Doctor or the Dazzle over here as well, that would have been a lot better for them. But they didn't, so she's really suffering because of that. Yeah, let's just have at it again. This is quite a long replay, so I'm gonna try to breeze through it, keep this reasonably timed. Yeah, so Dazzle gets the thing here.
Under attack.
My congregation shrinks.
Alright, you might be a little confused at what happened there, so let's just go back and take a look. Here we are, 20 seconds before. We're gonna watch this at ×1. And I'll keep my finger on the stone button. So Dazzle gets the rune. Poison touch to make sure refraction doesn't go off.
Middle tower is under attack.
I leave the temple.
So the error there was engaging without refraction. Should have just left right away. There's no way you can kill a Dazzle. Of all things, you've got no stun. He's got Shallow Grave. He's not dying. And all you're doing is risking yourself. So that to me was a pretty big misstep. If you were wondering how she managed to die there, the Dazzle has the healing wave, and you see he got the illusion room. So that particular combination means he could get you. He could heal himself and the 2 illusions for a total of, let's see, that's 140 physical damage times 3, so 280 for 420 physical damage nuke. So super powerful Shallow Wave early on. If you can just surround the enemy with a lot of creatures, like once we tried doing like Dazzle Shadow Demon Lycan lane, where you just you disrupt them with the Shadow Demon ability disrupt, and then you use the wolves, get the wolves there, and then right his goes out of disruption. You use the Dazzle heal, and there's always like 4 or 5 units if you have a hero around there, and then you can do a ton of damage like that. So good rotation here again, getting those skills in Spectre, super important.
The only mystery is how you lasted so long.
Yeah. TA, she's banking a lot of gold here. I wonder what she's gonna go for first item. Obviously, really good items on her include a Blink Dagger or good right picking items. Those are pretty much the main candidates here. And I think it's gonna be a Blink. Blink really good on her. So the Spectre ultied right as she came back, probably looking for a kill. It looks like it was gonna be the Ursa. They just traded her ultimate for a kill on the Ursa. Ursa, of course, being the kind of hard carry on this team, though it's a lot less of a hard carry than the Spectre, and I feel like this is probably gonna play a major role in the fact that Spectre is by far and away the hardest carry in this game. I've talked about this a lot, and when you are out carried like this, in the sense that you have the heroes with the less carry potential, it's really important that you put a lot of pressure on early, not necessarily end the game, and it was going to be a Blink Dagger, so I like that a lot, of course. It's very important that you win the early game very convincingly, and you might think 8-3, that's pretty good. Well, no towers has fallen yet. It's only 13 minutes in. If we get to the 20-minute mark and we haven't taken a lot of towers, then I'll start to get worried. But we haven't, so yeah. I like not picking up the magic wand here. There's not a lot of spells being used by these characters super much.
Dark light.
I mean, there's some, but not unusually many. In which case, I feel like a magic wand is probably not the greatest thing. It depends on your hero and how mana dependent they are, but we already have a bottle. Pretty good. Here we see the power of Shallow Grave. Might actually live. Nope, they just could have been a little dangerous there. Depends on how much view they had of this, but they might be trading a tower for this. In which case, I don't know if it would be worth it, because it's all about, you know, the way you delay this game. And I want to stress this real fast. The way you delay this game as the dire side is by killing the Spectre. That's pretty much the one hero you need to kill. If you kill the others, pretty much is much less consequential. All it does is give your heroes more momentum, but your heroes can use the momentum for less than the Spectre can. So if you can at all stop the Spectre from getting items, and she has got no item progression since we last saw her, so that's working. But you need her to die more than once. You need her. You need to take towers. Like, the two things you need to happen is you need to pressure their side of the map, limit the amount of room they have to farm, and kill the Spectre. That should be the game plan right here. Keep it nice and simple. It is just a pop, but that should definitely be it. You can even leave the Ursa to just take up Roshan, give yourself more of a goal advantage, and of course give you the fight advantage, even more so than when the opponents have a Spectre with no farm. Bit of a solo gank here on the Witch Doctor again. This is good, of course this is good, but it's not fantastic. It's not the best in the... It's not the absolute best. Go, another kill, this time on the Bounty Hunter, switched, or bit of a trade-off with the Wind Ranger. So unless that went to the Spectre, Spectre still doesn't have a kill, but she got an assist. This is still pretty okay, but they need to kill the Spectre. They need to kill the Spectre, or they need to make sure the Spectre can't farm before the game ends. That's all it should matter. Killing the killing the Witch Doctor here. It's nice and all. The Spectre TP'd in. That's a really good opportunity. Kind of wasted there. They had the Spectre just with 1 or 2 support, and now the TA is kind of here mid, while there's an engagement happening over here. They're behind tower even. This could go pretty bad. They could be giving up 3 kills now.
Radiant's bottom tower
And looks like they will be.
attack.
Yeah. They gave up 2 really important kills here now.
Radiant's top tower has been denied.
They got denied on the tower even, so that was a pretty big misstep here. I feel like their team should definitely have known that, you know, either they shouldn't push here, they should put him and with more. And I feel like they should probably push there 4 or 5. Like, it makes no sense having a few guys just around the map. They should have been pressuring with all their might here. Okay, going for the Spectre, really like that, and they're gonna get a good. So that was all we needed. Spectre is once again being held down.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And I say this, the reason why I'm stressing the fact that Spectre is the linchpin of this game is because there's very, very little carry potential in the rest of these characters. Treant is hilariously bad late game. Dazzle is good support late game, but he can't carry a game. Now we have a bit of an engagement. Love to see them fighting at this point. They should have the major advantage since the Spectre has almost no farm. But they managed to not get a good trade there. Oh, they weren't fighting all of them. The Ursa was mid. And it looks like it was basically a 4-on-5 fight, in which case, you know, don't take 4-on-5 fights. Get all of them there. The Ursa should not be looking to just passively farm up right now. Okay, the Ursa is... He's not stuck. Okay, he's gone for Mask of Madness into Blink. Mask of Madness is probably the worst item on Ursa. So... Alright. Real talk. Overpower. Let's just read the ability here. Using his skill in combat, Ursa gains increased attack speed for a number of subsequent attacks. How much attack speed did he gain? Well, 400. 400 attack speed. Now, I believe a Hyperstone gives you 50? So 400 is a lot. Which means that if you use another ability that's pretty much just gonna give you insane attack speed, it's, you know... and then you take extra damage. You're gonna reach the max attack speed just by using Overpower. Overpower pretty much gives you max attack speed. If you use Mask of Madness as well, all you're doing is make yourself more vulnerable and giving some lifesteal. You don't go Mask of Madness really on Ursa. You go Vladimir's or you go Helmut the Dominator. Most commonly Vladimir's. And the reason you do this is because you already have attack speed. So this is pretty horrible. Like, a lot of his gold, this is 200 gold or 2000 gold is just gone into this, and he's got a blink dagger. He's just gonna blink in, make himself really vulnerable, and then probably have a very hard chance of just dying. If this has been a Helmut the Dominator instead, it would be really good, because then he would have very high armor. It would be very hard for, say, the Bounty Hunter to do a lot about him with high armor. But instead he's kind of vulnerable. So this is a major mistake in itemization, I feel like. Our Templar hasn't gotten the best. Like, we are 20 minutes in. Would love to see a completed Crystallis at least. It has been a little while since we got the blink up, so. But you have been killing people and keeping up stuff on the map, so that's pretty good. I would love to see, you know, just let the supports kind of do their thing. The important thing isn't that you kind of snowball. The important thing is that you keep the Spectre down. Here's the Spectre. We're going for the Spectre. And the Spectre's gonna live, but you at least force her back. So the Spectre isn't farming. That's a semi-win right there. You did get a kill, and now you have a very good opening to take a tower. Good. All we ever wanted was towers and the Spectre not farming. That is all we want for this game. Dazzle saving his own ass again. Don't overpower this. Ursa playing absolutely appallingly, overdove there. He's gone seriously for Blink Dagger into Mask of Madness into diving tier 3s at 20 minutes. So Spectre died, but they did get all the gold from TA. Killed 800 gold going to... okay, that was just split, looks like.
Dire's bottom tower, Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That engagement, they're starting to give up more kills. This would be a lot easier if they just were a little bit more careful with it, especially the Ursa. He's honestly playing not so good. The Lich, this is pretty much how it should look. He's got a lot of mana, so Mechanism, Tranquil Boots. I like the skill build a lot. This is what I would go. This is what I do go most of my Lich games, if not all. So that's pretty good. I think the TA is also building really well. This is problematic. This is not a support build. This item and this item pretty much Wouldn't go that on supports really, especially on all talisman. I don't see this is a core sort of Wind Ranger build, which means the Lich is pretty much the only support here. That's an issue. Lich is one of the best solo supports, since you know he could actually conceivably. It looks like he can actually just afford wards and these items, because Lich, you know, he doesn't really need any more items. These are relatively cheap items and easy to get up. There's a ton of components to mech, so really good about it. So it's not the worst case. It's not like it's a Rubik or something who really needs needs early arcane boots and stuff to be really useful. But the Wind Ranger just going these items, even though she is buying wards, is a little bit problematic. Would love to see an Orchid. Like if you're going for a major item, just go for an Orchid instead of this stuff. I feel like that's yeah. This looks like kind of carry items to me. So, but if she is playing support, if she's actually been buying them, we haven't been paying so much attention to her, then it's fine. Just trying to, you know, this replay was sent in, and this is one of the first requests we have in a little while, or not actually. I've been getting more requests recently, but this one, yeah,
Dire's middle tower
this was a request. Is basically what I'm trying to say, I guess. In any case, they're pushing mid. They should definitely fight this. No reason not to fight this. Don't give them towers. Don't give them an easy time.
Dire's middle tower
Make sure the Spectre
is
isn't achieving anything. The Spectre is achieving something. So Tsundere here needs to, you know, they need to repel this. One solo Timbersaw cannot do this.
Radiant's bottom tower, Dire's middle tower.
Okay, pushing this tower isn't the worst, but it's not very good either. They did just trade a tier 1 5-3 nothing. The Timbersaw being in quite a bit of danger there.
Under attack.
All the while.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So that worked. I feel like she could almost have just taken on the Spectre. The Spectre still doesn't have gun drums. Okay, so probably she was trying to save up for Radiance. That's the usual. But, you know, she's been kept down. They are dying a lot stupid ways here. Soloing and stuff like that. When you're this far ahead, just team up, take objectives. Don't make the game any harder than it has to be, you know. See, we're just watching this Ursa run ahead by himself. He's just completely tunnel visioning in the extreme.
Radiant's middle
so
tower
yeah,
is under attack.
That was what they used that for. That Aegis just went to killing a Witch Doctor. No objectives taken. No Spectre killed. Just a Witch Doctor kill. That's a bit disappointing for this stage of the game. That's a win for the opponent's side almost. Not to say it's straight up a win for the opponent's side. So I think this TA is actually over-focusing on pushing towers a bit. And look, the enemies are getting good fights out of this.
Radiant's top tower is
they already killed the Ursa. They're gonna be able to isolate some people mid here. And what is we're just pushing at tier 2. Like, okay, we need to push towers, but we don't need to push like this is when you have assassin in your name, probably you're not a split pusher. Probably split pushing isn't the thing to do. And you know, if you're gonna split push, at least commit to the tower. Don't just put it in deny range and leave. Is it in deny range? It might be just outside it. In that case, it's okay. But you know, Julius lost a fight because of that, and that is like. Let's just see here. Yeah, Timbersaw kill. Spectre destroy the tower. Ursa kill. Here, there's an Ursa kill again. And the big thing, of course, the gold stays relatively the same, but the experience starts to peak down a little bit. It is still going up, but you know, these kills, you can see them just taking a toll here. They're definitely catching up. Because of course the levels just sort of, I wish there was a levels graph. There's a levels where you can just check it out, but because you know the amount of XP you need to level increases, then this was just stupid. You're not at the point in the game where you can just solo the entire enemy team. So if you have no vision, you can't just run in like that. like this is a glass cannon build, you are relying a lot on your refraction, and when there's a lot of tick damage, say the Death Ward and Tree and Leech Seed, and you mentioned the Poison Touch, they do have some tick damage. It isn't the worst, it isn't like a Viper. Whiff still there, or Whiff ultimate there. Yeah. But yeah, they just need to not get picked off so easily one by one. They're being picked off easily one by one, really a lot right now.
Radiant's middle tower.
So she's coming up to join the fight. This I like a lot. Just need, and the Ursa's actually in position for a nice backstab here. If he doesn't get caught out. Yeah, okay. That could have been really nasty if the Death Ward. Okay, that's the Death Ward. Somehow they're losing these fights. Yeah, those two need to get out now. Yeah, so she is going for an Orchid. I like that a lot. Yeah. I like the Orchid, I don't like the Null Talisman. The Orchid will help a lot with their fighting potential. Though they don't really need help with it, but you can't really have too much of it. But yeah, they're definitely slowing down now. Their whole entire game is kind of grinding to a halt. They're suddenly having trouble actually getting good fights. And honestly, I feel like this Ursa is a large part of it. He's still a super... he's actually bought items that make him easier to kill in the Ask of Madness. He's just super mobile, no tank at all, and a lot of damage. The enemies, you know, they don't even have to kind of focus him, they have enough kind of AoE to do that, like the Death Ward, if that just accidentally hits him. Which, you know, if we assume he isn't microing it super well, that'll just wreck the Ursa, like straight up. They don't really have any stuns. They have the Shackle Shot, and if that doesn't interrupt the Death Ward, they're gonna have to kill him to interrupt that thing, so... This is a problem, like the Ursa is the carry of the team. The only other hero here with any kind of carry potential is the TA. TA is doing a reasonable job. Pretty reasonable job. Died too much. That pick off over here really hurt them. And you know, the kills, a lot of them are just this Witch Doctor has died a ton, and yeah, this Witch Doctor. This is, you know... It's just, this Witch Doctor is probably having the worst game of his life, but the rest of them are honestly doing okay. Like, it's not that bad. They're not that far behind level-wise, we see. In fact, they have the same top level. The Dazzle is the same level as the Ursa and the TA. So this is a problem. This is a major problem, in fact. The Lich is going for an Aghanims. I don't know if that's the best. I would maybe like to see a Blink. Blink would be cool. Just to get in range. Or actually a Sheep Stick might be better. Yeah, probably a Sheep Stick. Just you know, you only have one stun, and then you have the silence from the Wind Ranger now with the Orchid. Getting a little bit more control would have been good here, and the guy to get that's actually the Lich, because he's kind of rich for support, and he's, you know, he's got the mana to use that kind of stuff. It would be good. Instead he's going for the Aghanims, kind of the default choice. I don't know if it's really gonna be that useful in team fights. I mean, it could, but yeah. Yeah, we'll see how that works out, but I feel like, you know, a little bit more control or mobility would probably be good. But honestly, right now the biggest error on this team is this Ursa going glass cannoning, not getting, you know. He's even a kind of weird carry in the fact that strength also gives him damage by way of his ulti. So not having damage is kind of a big problem. Go. Spectre ultis. That was a good ult.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, they managed to get the Spectres somewhere.
Your bones will make a fine...
Death Ward is giving her a lot of problems. Death Ward is definitely giving her a lot of problems.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
On one hand, she's killed the Witch Doctor a lot, but it's that Death Ward is just, they don't have a way to interrupt it really, so it's just murdering the TA every chance they get. And kind of what we're seeing happening here is the TA knows reasonably what he's doing. It's probably he, but it's called Tsundere as the TA, so I'm calling it she. But she's dying a little bit too much. Some of the abilities on the enemy team Okay, yeah. Isn't not the best to go up against for TA, and
Roshan has fallen to the dire.
Nobody can.
Timbersaw takes the Aegis. Honestly, I feel like this Ursa just really needs the Aegis. Because, yeah, if he has the Aegis, he can be reasonably useful in the fights. They will have to blow a few spells to kill him the first time around, and then maybe the cooldowns will be enough for him to actually do some damage with his second life. It's been a while since they took any towers. It's actually not that great of an advantage they have. The scores are sort of belying an advantage they don't really have anymore. Spectre dies again, this time to Ursa. He manages to actually do something useful, catching out the Spectre probably alone, and with an ulti on cooldown. And now they should definitely look to stop killing them. This is a pretty big mistake, so they shouldn't be trying to kill the enemies here. They should just be completely and utterly focused on killing this tower. The fact that they aren't is meaning that, okay, they kill the Spectre. So they kill the Spectre and they don't take the tower. So they took a T2.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
This Ursa is just not getting there. And now things are suddenly starting to look really bleak because the problem here is they kill the Spectre, they kill the Linchpin. Okay, cool. That means the game's delayed. Spectre still just on phase drums. No item progression here, no item progression. All she's got to work with is a decent amount of levels. But this only matters, the fact that the Spectre's being suppressed only matters if you can close out the game, or at least take Rex and get a sort of insurmountable advantage. You did get a tower mid, somehow, but that's not really good enough. Like, you need Rex, and it's 40 minutes into the game, you need Rex reasonably soon.
As you
can see the game is gonna go much longer. So we will speed it up, and we need to look at the TA here. TA for this point in the game has kind of very mediocre farm. Died a bit too much. Right, we have a fight here. TA already died, probably to the death ward yet again.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The Ursa decides to come into the fight after it's actually done. Go.
Consider yourself lucky. A dead mother.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
So the Ursa is hurting a lot. Like, peace be with that, but I mean, they didn't even win the fight, they absolutely lost the fight. They did take the Rax now, so this is really good. It's late, this is 40 minutes in against a very hard carry here, and one of your carriers has been playing really bad. This is really late, this is all that's keeping in the game at this point, honestly. 40-minute Rax is pretty late. They're gonna have to give out a Timbersaw kill for this as well. Nice suicide, couldn't have hoped for anything better right there. And this Spectre needs more farm pretty desperately. Yeah.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So, okay. One quick note, like, I keep saying that you need to... The plan I have here of just saying the easiest way to win this game is to push down Rax and kill the Spectre. That's, you know, that's not the only way to win. You could also just get an insurmountable advantage, but that's, you know, it's problematic because this Ursa is just building crap items. These two should I don't think these should be bought on Ursa. Like, it's probably either Blink or Shadowblade. You don't really like Shadowblade. Okay, at the low levels it's fine. It's good to initiate, good to lead the fight. You don't need 2 initiating items. You need 1, and then you need, like, he's a carry. You get him, get right click, get tank. That's what you need to do. Get like a freaking Sanjin Yasha would be better than these 2 items together, I think. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So he's a glass cannon. That means that even no matter how hard you snowball, if you build items like this, you can still die in 2.3 seconds, as we see before. Like, the death ward's just trading these 2 apart. The TA has a harder time tanking up. I think she's bought far more reasonable items, but they're just not capable of even snowballing hard enough to just be completely insurmountably ahead. So that's like if you were able to just, even if you didn't push towers, but you were able to farm efficiently enough and you were able to get enough kills, you could just get completely and utterly stupidly far ahead. And it's, you know, from there it's just, you know,
Oh, look at it go.
too much. So TA goes in alone. Templar comes in. Bounty Hunter. There is the good buyback from the Witch Doctor. Very good situation to buy back in.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Therefore doing a little bit of work. This is honestly looking like they should win the game right here. But the Spectre's back.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And they actually get 2 racks. So
Radiant's
this
top
is
tower
looking
under
a lot
attack.
better now. Because they got those 2 racks. And it's starting to look a little bit weird why they didn't just win this game.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Ah, yeah. So one key thing, we saw the effect just before there. One key thing is the Radiance. Finally, 40-minute Radiance on the Spectre. Radiance is a good item, and Radiance is especially a good item now because it'll help a lot in pushing out all these big creeps that these 2 racks have. 2 lanes of racks have bought the Dire team.
Radiant's middle
And
tower
that's-
is under attack.
Yeah, that's the big story of the game right now, is that, okay, you got racks, but you got it too late. Spectre managed to get up enough that it's actually not insurmountable for them to push it out. You won't get a passive victory here, you won't just get them completely smushed by the big creeps. You are, I would say, in a great position to win the game at this point though. Like, it's still looking pretty decent, but you're having way too close fights now. And every time you lose a fight now, it's gonna be pretty amazingly bad. Even if the Spectre makes a really impressively bad move like that. And now TA against the Radiance. Radiance also really good against the TA. So yeah,
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
would have maybe looked to get a BKB on
Radiant's
the
top
TA.
tower has fallen.
Maybe that's the point I need to stress here, is that when you're dying too much as a TA, look to do something about it. And doing something about it isn't getting a Daedalus out of your Crystalus. It's maybe you get a BKB before you upgrade it, or maybe after the Daedalus you get a BKB, and you know, then the Death Ward won't wreck you. Then, oh, actually, maybe let me check. It's physical. The Death Ward might still wreck you. I don't know if you can target it. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I think it still goes through BKB though. But at least, you know, at least the Radiance won't wreck you, and a lot of the abilities won't actually do too much. Actually, there isn't too much. Maybe it isn't. No, it's not really a BKB game. No, it just isn't a BKB game. So, yeah, in other situations, if you're dying too much, you could look to a
Radiant's middle
BKB.
tower
But
is
when
under
you're
attack.
yeah, this is just a tough situation to be TA in, honestly. It's really unfortunate that the US is playing so badly. This is the best item he's bought in a long while. These 2 don't combine into anything. I don't know what he's doing now. So that's super random. But the TA is doing isn't doing too hot. Would, you know, maybe look for more skirmishes. It's a tough thing to say, but they really, before in the kind of mid game, when they were perfectly capable of winning a 5v5 fight, they didn't take him, and the TA goes to the split push instead. And if they could have just beat them in a 5v5 fight there, then they just take towers automatically because they have all the map control. They can just choose to take a tower and take it. Now, when they can't take 5v5 fights, they kinda have to. So that fight was completely salvaged by the infinite bounces of the Agamemnons there on the Lich. Ursa going in, no BKB, still dies. Right. If he didn't have BKB there, he could have done something. If he did have BKB instead of, say, the Shadow Blade, he could have done something. If he had, now I'm just thinking aloud here, if he had, say, Helm of the Dominator and a Sanction Yasha, he could have done a lot more instead of, you know, the Mask of Madness and the Shadow Blade, but he didn't, so no point talking about that. TA really wants to finish her MKB here. MKB pretty good for her. She does have a decent amount of attack speed. No, actually, she's got. It's just because we are so far. We're watching this a bit faster than I'm used to because it's a really long game.
Roshan has fallen to the
So we're just gonna keep moving ahead. She gets her MKB. She gets the. Okay, giving her the Academys here, the Aegis here is bad because she'll just die again. The Ursa manages to die right away. Pretty bad. They basically are unable to get the kills they need here in fights. So already, yeah, they're just being repelled really efficiently, and we are just gonna skip ahead here. They're basically not killing anything. They traded a 3 for 4 or something. They're just making absurdly bad trades, and this Ursa is making absurdly bad plays. Just going in 1v like 4 or 5 is just not. They got the tower up top for like 2 team wipes. That's too much. In almost any situations, 2 team wipes for a tower is not acceptable. Like, not at all. Like, if we we're still looking at the last hits, probably shouldn't be. Probably should be looking at this. We see the bounty hunter is actually the richest guy here. The bounty hunter is hitting very hard. That's a problem. Spectre is also doing well now, and she's got a heart now. Now this will make her pretty hard to kill, and she's got the radiance. As we talked about last time, radiance plus heart is really good because you get these long duration fights, which, you know, if you can prolong the fight and you have radiance, you'll be doing more damage. Quite simple.
Radiant structures
They just cannot stand up to them right now.
Radiant's top base has fallen.
The game is effectively over at this point. Well, it isn't over, but you know, probably just keep the lanes in.
Radiant's middle tower is
it's
under
hard to
attack.
say. It's so close. But
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top barracks are under.
But they just, the problem is they just cannot beat them in a fight. They've managed to take the last racks now. That's pretty much all that matters. They're still losing the fights. They've barely gotten any kills, and it's just been the Dazzle and the tree end, I think. None on the Spectre, none on the Bounty Hunter that really matter. We're seeing they're actually doing really well now. Pretty well now. Yeah, the Bounty Hunter's doing really well.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's Ancient is under attack. Radiant's
And it's these absurdly good trades, and the fact that Spectre is now at a state where she can actually fight back these waves really well. It's just making things a little bit too difficult. Yeah, it's just they're doing what they have to do. They are trying to push in the Ancient really a lot, and it's almost working. Like, the Ancient is below half-life. If it's below half-life, you've done something right. But the Spectre is just still so good against these creeps. She can just tank them all day. The Radiance will eventually wear them down, and she's got the dispersion. Yeah. They also have the tree in to heal up the Ancient again.
Radiant's Ancient is under attack.
Yes, it goes in, tries to just force it. But the Witch Doctor ultimate.
Radiant's Ancient is under attack.
They have nothing to interrupt that Witch Doctor ultimate. It's really unfortunate because they are so close. So freaking close.
Radiant's Ancient is up.
I can understand that they're just all kind of suiciding in. It's so close to working. I'm actually kinda excited to see how they will end up actually pushing this out again. I thought it was open and shut, that they just wouldn't be able to take a fight. But, and they haven't been, like, they haven't gotten a kill in ages. We see that now there's a convincing lead for the Radiant side. The Radiant side is just crushing every fight they see, but they're just sort of, just sort of pushing too late here.
Radiant's Ancient
So
is under
I'm
attack.
kind of running out of time here. So
Roshan has fallen to the
okay,
Dire.
they take the Roshan. Smart move. Treants heal the Ancient up to half again. Big fight again. This is gonna go on for another 30 minutes.
Radiant's Ancient is under attack.
This is pretty absurd. But I mean, if they aren't killing it now,
Radiant's
the mega
Ancient
creeps are
is
gonna
un-
keep
Dire's
getting stronger.
courier has been killed.
This is pretty absurd. So I know we're not looking at the TA anymore, but it's honestly not really about the TA. And honestly, it's the easiest way to win this game is already passed. Like a lot before this. It's just a battle to keep things pushed now. The Timbersaws had to quit. He did message, or he did say in the mail that the Timbersaw had to leave at some point. I thought that since he was already level 25, it would have been near the end of the game. But it apparently does still have an hour left, so yeah.
Invisibility!
Dire's middle tower is
Oh, they
under
killed the
attack.
Spectre. She has buyback. Spectre with buyback is bad news. And all the lanes are pushed out. Spectre. Just gonna take the
Dire's
mid tower
middle
really easily
tower
out
is
because
under
the right click is monstrous.
Radiant's Ancient. Radiant structures. Radiant's Ancient is under attack. Radiant's Ancient is under attack.
Yeah.
Radiant's
This is honestly
Ancient
really well
is
played.
under
It's
attack.
really hard juggling this, but it's also such a niche situation that it's hard to say that this is what you should do here. And of course, you know, people leaving, it happens, but I don't really feel like you can really
Radiant's
counteract that in
Ancient
any
is
way.
under attack.
The best thing you can do is obviously micro them here. They are microing the Timbersaw, but they're just getting crushed in these fights now. Even with the Infinity Lich ults, it's just not doing it. Not enough. Not enough.
Radiant's Ancient is under. Radiant's Ancient is under attack.
It's taking way too long.
Radiant's Ancient is under attack. Radiant's Ancient is under attack. Radiant's Ancient is under attack.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're just
Radiant's courier has been killed.
pushing back the waves. They keep
Radiant's
pushing back the waves.
Ancient is under attack.
The Spectre's got 5,000 gold now. She's dead. She has buyback.
Radiant's Ancient is under
Okay.
attack.
So we are gonna skip past all this. See, they managed to take. Yeah, pretty much they push out. That's what's gonna happen here. And just to get the end screen in. And since you know, I'll put the
Dire's
link
top
to this
tower is
replay
Dire's
in the
top-
video
Dire's-
description in case
Dire-
anyone
the Radiant now
wants to take a
have
look at it.
mega
But
creeps.
honestly, this is mainly for educational purposes. We're trying to learn here, and you know, it's an epic game,
Dire's
absolutely. But
middle tower has Dire's middle tower.
I
Dire's
feel
middle
like there's
tower
not much to
has
comment
fallen.
over about, aside from the fact that you know, it's pretty ridiculous.
Radiant victory.
My gratitude.
Here we go. Okay. 1 hour, 30-minute game. 90-minute game. Okay, so easiest way to win this game for the dire side is for the Ursa not to build complete and utter glass cannon items. Even at the end here, he isn't especially tanky. He's just got a Ascension Yarsha and a BKB. That's not very tanky. He still has them fucking Mask of Madness. Mask of Madness at the late game is super bad. Don't do it, man. 30% more damage is super big. And you know, he would be better just selling it. That would make him a better hero. Just not having the item. Or never using it anyway. Died 27 times. That's abhorrent. So yeah, if the Ursa had played better, hadn't died quite so much, hadn't gone in 1v5 so much, that would have been absolutely the easiest path to victory for for the Dire team here. As for the Templar Assassin's play herself, I feel like not going for the team fights quite enough, going for some easy pickoffs instead of the pickoffs her team really needed in the early game. Like, okay, most of the time it's good enough just killing supports over and over, but sometimes you end up with games like this where you just need to keep the carry down and all this. The Spectre was suppressed quite well, but not well enough to make up for an hour plus game. So I feel like the Templar Assassin should have been more willing to team fight when she was split pushing in the mid game, early late game, and then later game when she was team fighting and obviously it wasn't working, go for the split push. Switch those two and I feel like that's better. Again, the Ursa should just have been playing better. Absolutely just have been playing better. They were very low on control. Would have loved to see the Wind Ranger and the Lich pick up a few more control items. The Wind Ranger with the Orchard's pretty good as far as control goes, but the Lich could have fitted in like a Cypher Vice or something. Just something to give them another way to at least interrupt that Death Ward. That Death Ward that did so much. Yeah. Those are the major things about this game. I hope you've enjoyed this. As per the usual, the directions for sending in replays will be in the description of this video. My name's been Cerebellum. This has been Academy of the Ancients, and I'm out.